He's always right there when I need her. Oh, me! See it happen on CVM TV. I'm out.
You can open a Sagicor Bank savings account from anywhere. Go online and open yours today.
The time by Sagicor Bank is
Tonight in CVM News at 7, axes the asset tax. Economist backs calls for asset tax removal but urges caution. The Clansman trial continues. Detective testifies to no suspects identified in 2017 Roger Avenue shooting. Environmental watchdog or political tool. Jabem questions NEPA's oversight. And not true. JTA dismisses fake salary increase claim. For small biz, big dreams, we hear from a budding florist hoping to expand. And in sports, more ends mixed day for Jamaica at Winter Olympics. From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7 for Monday, February 16, 2026. I'm Nika Lewis. Thanks so much for joining us. First up, renewed calls this evening for the government to do away with the asset tax levied on some businesses. That appeal from one economist who warns that while the move could provide much needed relief for the financial sector, it must be approached with caution. Details from Amoy Harriet.
The ad valorem asset tax was imposed on the value of assets held by some financial institutions as a temporary revenue-raising measure for the government. At the time, it was said that the tax would only last 3 years. It's been 13. The tax brings in some $6 to $8 billion annually. Good for government coffers, but a heavy bill for the institutions paying it. Keenan Faulkner is an economist.
At the very beginning of the financial year, a lot of institutions probably report a loss or they report diminished profits. And that capital could have otherwise been better spent giving your shareholders dividends.
The tax rate, which was 0.25% when it first came in place, was in 2021 cut in half to 0.125% on the taxable value of assets for deposit-taking institutions, securities dealers, life insurance companies, and property and casualty insurance companies. The tax is charged to these institutions, but ordinary Jamaicans are also picking up the tab, just indirectly.
You look at the fact that interest rates continue to remain elevated. That's because the asset tax decapitalizes the sector. So when the asset tax makes financial institutions have less capital, then it means that they have less money to lend, less money to reinvest. And so rates tend to remain elevated. A lot of persons in the financial sector, they have said that this tax should have been abolished back then.
But Faulkner says despite mounting calls for its removal, the asset tax is unlikely to disappear anytime soon, predicting it could remain in place for at least another 5 years.
With the announcement of new tax measures, I don't expect the government to remove or reduce this one right now, given the situation that the country is in. However, it does say something that the asset tax should probably have been removed when times are better. because it's hard to wean yourself off of it when you've gotten used to the revenue that comes from it. But it's not a revenue measure that is meant to be applied during ordinary times. An asset tax is something that was really a last resort.
And Jamaica remains among only 3 countries in the Caribbean with a tax of this nature. Mr. Faulkner is suggesting a gradual phase out of the tax.
That might be the most feasible option right now. The government, as we know, is in dire fiscal straits at the moment, but also gradually removing it could have a positive benefit in that the multiplier effect from that would then now help to get revenues overall rebounding much more quickly.
I'm Harriet for CVM News.
Meanwhile, social media claims of a pay increase for teachers are being shut down tonight. A document circulating online suggests that the Jamaica Teachers Association has secured an increase for its members, but the association says that claim is false. Akeem Aret has the details.
This is the fake release circulating widely on social media that has sparked confusion among teachers across the island, claiming that a 50% salary increase has been agreed between the Jamaica Teachers Association and the government. JT President Mark Malava has firmly denied the claim, stressing that no such agreement has been reached.
I can categorically state that those statements are false. That is erroneous, absurd, and malicious. It is tantamount to mischief making. We do not know who did it, but it is far from the truth.
Despite the fictitious release, Mr. Malava says discussions with the government are ongoing as the association continues to advocate for improved compensation for educators.
We continue to negotiate with the government with respect to salaries and conditions of service. And what I can say categorically is that there is no agreement whatsoever with the government on percentage increase. As a matter of fact, I can also state that we did at no point in time did the JTA put on its list of claims a 50%, propose a 50% increase in the salaries of teachers.
The JT president further sought to reassure teachers that progress is being made on salary negotiations and an agreement has been reached in principle.
We are just awaiting a formal letter from the Ministry of Education with respect to this matter. We can confirm that the Ministry of Finance and Planning has written to the Ministry of Education on this matter due to our advocacy with respect to the outstanding increments.
Akeem Aret for CVM News.
The association says the salary increment now being discussed is not tied to any new agreement. According to JTA President Mark Malava, the outstanding increase is based on provisions in the last Memorandum of Understanding covering the previous contractual period. For 87 accounting graduates stepping into a world of opportunities, a charge to continuously upskill and maintain their integrity in a space where temptations are rife. Imani Duncan Price, a former politician and director of Deloitte Jamaica, explains it's imperative they operate above board at all times.
Use your skills.
We apologize for the incorrect insert. However, you're putting the fox in charge of the hen house. That's how the Jamaica Beach Birthright environmental movement, JABEM, is blasting the government over what it calls the exclusion of the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, from the Environment Ministry. The organization is calling on the Andrew Holness-led administration to remove the environmental regulator from the office of the Prime Minister. As it says, the current structure weakens the oversight of NEPA. Amoy Harriet reports.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, in a meeting last week, explaining the reasoning behind placing the National Environment and Planning Agency NEPA under the Ministry of Economic Growth and Infrastructural Development, which sits in the office of the Prime Minister.
Essentially, this is Jamaica's environmental protection agency, but it is also Jamaica's development agency. And that is always the tension between preserving what you have, your natural assets, and adding value to your natural assets through development. And that explains why NEPA resides in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Infrastructure Development.
But this move hasn't gone down well with some in the environmental sector who warn the regulatory body is being turned into a political tool. In a press release on Monday, the Jamaica Beach Birthright Environmental Movement, JABEM, said, quote, "This decision strips the new ministry's genuine regulatory authority, diminishes its legitimacy, and reveals that its establishment was not intended to strengthen environmental protection, but instead at preserving centralized political control over environmental decisions." Dr. Devon Taylor is president of JABEM.
NEPA is the regulatory body that is the final decision maker on everything that is environmentally related in Jamaica. This is why the Natural Resource Conservation Authority that was created in 1991 was charged with that responsibility. And so a ministry without an environmental ministry without that regulatory body is powerless, right? And since the power is enshrined in the NRCA, in NEPA, and for that to retain itself in the Prime Minister's office is saying that the Prime Minister is controlling the power of the environment instead of the ministry that was created to do so. What we are seeing here is that you're putting the fox in charge of the hen house.
He insists it's a clear conflict of interest for the ministry in charge of infrastructure development to also control the environmental regulator.
Right? Where the same ministry responsible for mega project infrastructure and development is also controlling the environmental regulator. Right? This means, right, that what we should be seeing that this environment ministry challenging harmful development is overseen by an arm of the government pushing for these development.
Dr. Taylor pointed to a development in which he believes political interference in environmental oversight led to questionable approvals.
The development that's going on the Ryabuna watershed, in Roaring River, where there's building out. Even yesterday, they ripped down an entire piece of coastal forest. They're changing the course of the river, right? This is failure, right? When you have these massive, they're building out some 800 houses on a watershed, right? That sits right next door to the ecologically sensitive Duns River, right? And this is a project that is endorsed by the government.
Our newsroom contacted Environment Minister Matthew Samuda, who has agreed to an interview at a later date. Amoy Harriet for CVM News.
And we return to that story about the Jamaica Teachers Association because it says the salary increment now being discussed is not tied to any new agreement. According to the JTA President Mark Malava, the outstanding increase is based on provisions in the last Memorandum of Understanding covering the previous contractual period.
Some time ago, the government did give the equivalent of 3 increment movement in one go. There would have been an outstanding increment that would have been effective April 2025. And the government has since indicated that our interpretation with respect to the wording and the spirit of the heads of agreement would have been correct, and as such we would have indeed been entitled to at least one movement with respect to one increment payment based on the anniversary date of each teacher.
With that, we take a break. Stay with us.
do our part. You like porridge? We're in this together.
Morning, nurse. Thank you for what you do every day.
Come in, nurse. Our bona fide.
In this together.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Thanks so much for staying with us. The prosecution witness number 6 revealed that 2 accused men in the Clansman trial were not listed as suspects in the shooting on Roger Avenue, Spanish Town on September 16, 2017. Carla Ramdeen was in court and files this report.
2 of the accused, Dwayne Freighter and Lamar Rowe, were not listed as suspects. The court heard as the 6th prosecution witness gave his testimony on Monday. The witness, a detective sergeant attached to the Major Investigation Division, MID, detailed his role in investigating the fatal shooting along Roger Avenue, Spanish Town in St. Catherine on September 16, 2017. The witness said he attended the scene and later went to the Accident and Emergency Department at Spanish Town Hospital, where the body of a man with apparent gunshot wounds to his leg, chest and head was observed. The witness said it was then he launched a murder investigation. During proceedings, the prosecution showed him photographs of the crime scene. The officer took some time to identify an item he had mentioned earlier in his testimony, and admitted a slight injury to his left eye on Valentine's Day had made it difficult to see the image clearly. During cross-examination, when asked if he identified any suspects at the time, the witness said he had not, but had noted possible suspects. The defense pointed to notes the witness had made listing possible suspects and suggested that a particular page was a continuation of earlier notes made about the incident. The witness rejected that suggestion, explaining that his notes were not recorded in chronological order. He agreed that the page contained names of possible suspects, but clarified that it did not include the dead man's name or reference to the incident and could have been related to another matter. The trial continues on Tuesday, with the witness set to finish his cross-examination. Carla Ramdeen, CVM News.
For Jamaica to achieve sustained economic growth and global competitiveness, the country must move beyond just producing technically capable accountants. Instead, it should cultivate a comprehensive professional ecosystem that allows talent to develop, remain in the country, and deliver value locally. That charge from Imani Duncan Price, director of the newly re-established Deloitte Jamaica, while speaking at the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Jamaica's graduation ceremony recently. For 87 accounting graduates stepping into a world of opportunities, a charge to continuously upskill and maintain their integrity in a space where temptations are rife. Imani Duncan Price, a former politician and director of Deloitte Jamaica, explains it's imperative they operate above board at all times.
Use your skills to build not just your careers, but also our nation. Be lifelong learners. Be ethical champions. Be the strategic thinkers Jamaica needs. Congratulations. May your journey ahead Be as bold and as bright as the future you are now qualified to lead.
Also high on her list of concerns is the matter of talent retention in the field. Duncan Price insists Jamaica must create an ecosystem that keeps skilled individuals here and apply their skills to build a stronger nation.
To secure our prosperity, Jamaica must do more than create world-class accountants like yourself. We must create an ecosystem that keeps them here, applying their skills to build a stronger nation. This means providing continuous access to cutting-edge technology, training, creating clear pathways to work on complex, local and global projects, and fostering a culture of innovation.
Duncan Price charged the graduates to embrace technology and master relevant AI capabilities, not seeing these as threats to the profession, but powerful tools to elevate it.
At Deloitte, we leverage AI and advanced analytics not to replace our professionals, but to amplify them, to boost productivity, uncover deeper insights, manage risk smarter, and serve our clients with greater precision and value. The question is no longer if you will use these tools, it's how soon will you be able to master them. And that's up to you.
Agriculture and Fisheries Minister Floyd Green has announced the launch of a grant program to support vessel repairs and engine replacement. Minister Green says monetary contributions from the government will be used to provide water access to farmers and agriculture workers. He underscored that infrastructure, though vital, is only one piece of the puzzle in driving meaningful agricultural reform. Mr. Green assures the grant will empower farmers to reinvest in their produce, addressing a long-standing challenge in the sector where many are left to shoulder costs alone due to limited support from financial institutions. He was speaking at the National Fisheries Authority handover ceremony for boats and engines recently.
The infrastructure alone will not transform agriculture because there are other barriers that our farmers have in investing in their agricultural enterprise. Yes, one of them has to do with the change in climate and the risk that goes with agriculture. But another barrier is access to financing.
Christ in the vessel, she can smile at the storm. This actually was how an elderly woman expressed her gratitude for her mayor and member of parliament for their contributions to her housing and her health. With a new home and a new outlook on life after disaster, this Hanover native closes the door on crisis and begins a chapter with resilience. Crystal Williams tells us more.
Up until Hurricane Melissa hit Jamaica, 69-year-old Monty Ali says she was of good health. However, since its passing, she reports that her health has deteriorated.
Since the hurricane, I'm going through a lot. My health is not good after the hurricane because I've been to the hospital, to private doctor, and I'm still here. This morning, Mr. Quarry said to me, I must get a mask to put on the way I'm coughing. I went to the doctor and said, I have a chronic cough.
The demolition by the hurricane has left the retired domestic helper from Woodchurch, Hanover, with limited options. She says this ailment is caused by being forced to survive through less than suitable living conditions. A zinc hut, which she says is sometimes either extremely hot or extremely cold.
I'm good with the food, but the house is my problem. The worst living in the zinc house. And, you know, I'm really grateful this morning for what I'm going to receive.
Member of Parliament for Western Hanover, Heather Miller-Bennett, says Mayor of Lucy, Sheridan Samuels, brought this matter to her attention. Monty Ali is grateful to all involved.
She lost all her belongings during Hurricane Melissa. Mayor Samuels has been in the community and he has been assessing since Melissa the needs of the community, and he mentioned about Miss Lee's plight because she has been living in a zinc structure and she has been getting sick week in, week out of the hospital. And so today we are here to give her a home donated by S Shelter.
Crystal Williams reporting for CVM News.
A final year University of the West Indies student is proving that passion and persistence can bloom into business success. In tonight's installment of Small Biz, Big Dreams, our reporter Kevin Black introduces us to Shari Gardner, the young entrepreneur turning petals into profits.
Tonight, on Small Biz, Big Dreams, we meet a final year UE student turning her love for flowers into a growing online business. This is Small Biz, Big Dreams. Shari Lee Gardner has been operating her online floral business for a year now, creating custom arrangements for special occasions and everyday moments. The final year university student says floristry started as a creative outlet but quickly blossomed into a business opportunity.
I have always just had a love and passion for flowers and making things beautiful, and one might say that it has been embedded in me because of my name Shari. My mom says it's a derivative of the Rose of Sharon, that flower, and my aunt has called me chrysanthemum my entire life, which is another flower. So yeah, something that has always just been a part of my life, and I really do enjoy it. And flowers are the epitome of beauty. They brighten up any sort of gift, any sort of arrangement that you have. Something as simple as even a bottle of wine, pair it with a bouquet of flowers, and trust me, it enhances it completely.
Gardner says social media has played a major role in helping her reach customers and grow her client base while maintaining university life.
Age range, it's usually men I should say, of about age 26 to 65 and over. Aside from just bouquets that are for anniversaries, birthdays, and other special occasions, we also have sympathy arrangements as well that are usually placed in baskets. So in case you want to send, some love, some condolences to someone that is experiencing loss, we also do bouquets for them as well, and floral arrangements.
She says customer satisfaction and creativity remain at the heart of her business, and she hopes to expand into event decor with a physical location in the future.
The biggest risk with flowers is that they're perishable items. So in terms of really targeting the market audience, in terms of really making sure that I have enough customers to sell my flowers to, you don't want to order too much. So yeah, marketing is definitely something that I have had to put a lot of work into, because you don't want your items to die before selling. And any money gonna go to waste, You can find us at Blooming Gifts, that's BLOOMING Gifts, GIFTS JA, on all your social media platforms. So that's Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Blooming Gifts JA. And you can WhatsApp us at 876-460-2405.
Next week, we continue to spotlight entrepreneurs turning small ideas into big dreams. Until then, for Small Biz, Big Dreams, I'm Kevin Black.
We now go to a break, but when we return, the story of how the family of Caitlin Dowdy says it's been struggling to get a medical report for over 3 years now from a major hospital. Stay with us.
8 a.m. and Mr. Thompson can't find chalk. Or his dignity. Is white squalid? Meanwhile, on-site, error, a mash-up concrete. Or so it seems. Wait, I can't embellish that. It's almost that time for Ashley's belly to clock out. Don't get creative with your hunger. Solve it with mothers.
Mommy, ice cream.
Even the little ones get hungry too. Mothers, all day delicious. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Power in great moments. If you have financial needs, Chris and Charles will fix them for you. Power in great moments since 1992. Oh, we have it all. Power in great moments. Relax, you got Chris and Charles. Oh, we have it all. When you think alone, think Chris and Charles.
The KFC value menu has you thinking chicken. Get the famous blue combo for just $640.
The time by KFC is
7:30.
Thanks so much for staying with us. The family of Kaylin Dowdy, the teen who was beaten by 5 women in November 2020, is this evening criticizing the University Hospital of the West Indies for the time it's taking to get it to produce a medical record. The family wants to do a procedure in the United States, but says the hospital has not provided her files for nearly 3 years. Giovanni Dennis reports.
So hi Kaylin, firstly, how are you doing? You're fine?
It's been 6 years since Kaylin Dowdy's story gripped the island. The then 17-year-old teen was beaten by 5 women who left her for dead at a party in Barbican, St. Andrew. Doctors had given her a 1% chance of survival after she was in a coma. Fast forward to today, she is still on the road to recovery. She uses a wheelchair.
What has that journey been like for you firstly? Hard? What has been the most difficult part of it? Hospital? Difficult?
You don't hear her voice because she uses a trach to help her breathe. She has been a patient at the University Hospital of the West Indies since 2020, initially admitted and now an outpatient. Her mother, Venetia Buckley, is now trying to get that trach removed, a surgery that can only be done overseas. But there's an issue. The family needs a medical report before she can be seen by surgeons in the United States. They say they have been trying for almost 3 years to get Kaylin's report from the hospital.
I paid for a medical report. I went even before I left Jamaica. I was at UWI. Even the day before I went on the plane, I was at UWI trying to get the medical report. Still have not gotten it. To date, we have gone up there countless amount of times. Kaylin has gone herself with her nurse. Her father has gone. I've sent other people to try and get it, and we have not been able to get this report.
Ms. Buckley says they were told that no one wants to write it. The family tried again in 2025. This receipt shows it was paid for on October 21. Kaylin and her nursing assistant visited the hospital on the 3rd of February 2026, again requesting the files.
When we went to the department to ask for it, they're saying that there is no record of anything. So she's supposed to have CT scans, MRIs, X-rays, none of that. They're saying they're seeing no images, any at all. I can remember distinctly the lady saying to me, they have deleted them to make space.
This was when the family reached out to CVM News. We immediately sent an email to the University Hospital's acting CEO, Eric Hosin, on whether Kaylin's medical records were deleted. Mr. Hosin said he would follow up, and so before airing, we waited nearly 2 weeks for a response. But the family is growing increasingly concerned.
What am I supposed to give to the other doctors to work with? They want to know before they accept her into their facility what they are working with. People don't understand a tracheostomy tube is also a source of infection, because if that tube is not cleaned properly, she can get an infection that can lead to sepsis. Kaylin has already fought sepsis 7 times. We do not plan on doing it 8. She does not need this tube. We need to get it out, and they are blocking us from getting this thing done.
Without this record, the surgery that they're looking forward to remove the trach for her to get back her voice won't be done. So it's extremely important.
Extremely important because Kaylin has not heard her own voice since 2020, nearly 6 years ago. Since our news team made inquiries, we were told by a senior hospital figure that Kaylin's files were located and is being put together, but because she's a unique case, in that she has been with the hospital for an extended period, the file is large and takes time to put together. But the family, which has been seeking this file since 2023 without success, still wants answers. Giovanni Dennis, CVM News.
In the meantime, the university hospital is denying that the medical files were ever deleted. In a response a short while ago, the hospital's legal officer, Kimani Birdson, confirmed that the report is now being compiled.
She was
All right, so we apologize for the absence of that clip, but we'll try and get it for you in short order. It's now time for regional and international news with Marshall Hazley.
We begin with regional news. Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, says it's time to get to work. Fresh off a historic landslide victory to secure a third term, the Prime Minister is promising action to deliver on the commitments made during the election campaign. CBC Barbados has the details.
We commit to continuing to stop poor people from being poor. We commit to fight injustice wherever it is. We commit to trying to provide as many opportunities for as many of you, especially those who are young. Because if we don't create the opportunities for you, you will not want to stay in this country to build it out. So I say to you, that there are some things that as government we can and must do.
Further afield, US and Iranian officials are preparing to hold a second round of talks on Tuesday in Switzerland. More from BBC News.
It's clear that President Trump himself does want to reach a deal. And I think that the way he's described the military build-up in the region shows very clearly that he wants to be able to say, I have achieved this deal with Iran and we have gone further than anyone else has done before to limit their nuclear program.
Meanwhile, for decades, Syria's literary life was tightly controlled, with publishers required to submit titles for approval and many works banned outright. Now, for the first time in more than 50 years, they're able to sell any of their published titles. Al Jazeera reports. And that's it for regional and international news. I'm Marshall Hazley.
And she was.
We take a break. Stay with us.
Value you will love. Find it only at Quartz. Get up to $80,000 off select furniture, appliances, and electronics. Keep your cash. Shop on credit and choose how you pay. Get unbeatable value you will love. Find it only at Quartz. Bringing value home. Offer ends February 28th.